What about from your perspective, Carter? Why are you guys great brothers?
It's a great question. I don't think you've ever asked that before.
Because he takes care of me when you guys are gone. Feeds me sometimes. Yep. He's nice when I ask for something, like a water, I say when I'm in my Zoom call. He's done with the Zoom call. He goes, gets me the water, comes back. And I say, thank you. He says, you're welcome. And he walks out. And he says, I love you.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, teary-eyed.
Guys, I love this. Let's keep talking about crits for a second. And Carter, from your perspective, that's awesome. I love that. Hey, Carter, while we're on this topic, actually, let's stick with this. I think it's great. What do you love about your mom and dad? What makes your family special? Let's stick with this.
Oh, God.
This is good. We're on to something here, buddy.
You're good. Just deep.
Yeah.
You're okay.
All those emotions are great. You have all the space and time you need, Carter. There's no rush here at all. And all that emotion, by the way, makes me feel really, really happy. It means we're on to something important.
Let's see. They've always supported me. They're great parents. I mean, obviously, they're doing this for me. They believed in me. And they take care of me. They know what I love, and they give it to me. And I think that's important. And they love me, and I love them back.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool. I love it. Ryan and Carter, welcome to the Front Row Dad podcast. I'm so pumped to have you guys here today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
right.
John.
And this is unique, a father-son team. We have a really cool topic to explore today, which I can't wait to get into. And that is, Carter, your business that you created. And I know with the support of your family and friends and community and all the people that are part of building something. But let's before we get into critters, which I'm, again, just so excited to talk about, let's just zoom out for a second and talk about life in general. Carter, let me go to you first. What is great for you right now? What are you happy about? What are you excited about? Share with me something going well in your world.
I have lots of things going well in my world. Well, let's see. I like to skateboard every single day, which is really good exercise for me, and I love it. I get to talk to my friends and play games with them. I play lacrosse. My parents take me to lacrosse practice, and it's super fun. I play lacrosse in my backyard. I do golf. And one of the biggest things that's happening in my life right now is that we're moving to Texas on December 19th or 20th. So that's going to be really exciting. Oh no. Oh, edit that out. And yeah, it's going to be super exciting. We're going to have a brand new house, and I'm really excited for it. And I'm going to have my own room with my own bathroom.
Nice. Well, I can relate to a couple of those things, Carter, because one, my son, who's also 11, loves to skateboard. And right now he is working on learning to do a kickflip. Is that a trick that you either know how to do or want to do?
That's a really hard trick. Well, first, in my opinion, you have to learn like an ollie,
Yes.
a backside 180, a frontside 180, a shove it, a fakie shove it. And then once you master those, you go to a kick flip. And then once you do a kick flip, then you're good, I guess. You're really good.
It's so cool. Yeah, when I was younger, I loved to skateboard. And I think I blew my son away when I got on the skateboard and I did a kickflip. And he was like, "No way." And then somebody else like, "Your dad's the coolest." I don't hear that very often, Carter. I don't hear that very often. So that was like I had to wait 11 years to hear that. Hey, Ryan, what about for you? What's good in your world? What can we celebrate?
Oh, what's good? So many things. We're super blessed with these two boys, and that's, my wife and I have been together for 16 years, and just being these two dudes' dad uh, every day is pretty awesome, and we like to celebrate that often and support them. Uh, Business is great. I started a wine label 20 years ago. It's our 20th anniversary. So something big to celebrate. Started a small
Huge.
little wine label in my garage, and now we're a much larger label. We're 4,000 cases, and called Waugh Family Wines, and so we're super proud of that. And I think the biggest thing to celebrate is, we're a really awesome special family unit, and we got four really awesome people, and our next generation is um, really incredible humans with a lot of amazing empathy, and I think you're going to see some of that in this interview. And
Yeah.
um, those are really cool things to celebrate. And then my wife is from Texas, and Carter just alluded to we're keeping our Napa house, and I'm going to come back and forth in the winemaking, but I'm taking the Texas girl back home.
Very cool. That's very cool. Well, we love Texas, Carter. So we're in Austin, Texas. And we are also looking for a house. And Tiger is also getting his own room. So he is,
All
you
right,
and he would have a
yeah.
lot to celebrate together. He's very
I
pumped about
didn't,
that.
John.
They've been
I didn't
living.
tell him. I didn't tell him where you lived.
Yeah. Yeah. We love Texas. It's been great to us. We moved from Philadelphia in the Northeast, really, truly South Jersey area. But we love it here. It's great. Yeah. Well, it's good,
That's
guys.
amazing.
I'm very happy for both of you and all of that. Ryan, one other quick question about fatherhood and family before we talk about critters. When it comes to getting it all done, one of the questions that comes up a lot with our guys is, how do you run a successful business and show up for your family and be present and be engaged and have just time for it all when it feels like there's so much to do? How do you look at fatherhood, prioritization, schedules? I realize that's a big question. So take that wherever you want, at a micro or macro level.
Yeah. Um, well, I probably don't look at it like that in such a because that is such a big question.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I ask myself that a lot, I'll probably get overwhelmed, and oh my. So I think I just sort of break it down, into each day, and I just look at things that are important, and try to take care of those each day. And I've found that the little details of business, they'll just get done,
Yeah.
somehow, whether you're doing them or you have a consultant or you have, those things get done. But the big things, I think, are, you wake up, can you think about somebody other than yourself? So I've got my wife, I've got Jordan, I've got Carter. What can I do to make their lives a little easier? And then you kind of extend that out to your vendors and your customers, and maybe your community. And I think if you start there, then I don't think it becomes too overwhelming. You don't want to get caught up in the details of everything. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I catch myself, chasing your tail and usually I'll just try to center myself by, I'll just take a break and read for an hour, or I'll meditate, or just do something totally different. And then I always come back to, what are the boys doing? What do they need? What does Crystal need? What do our customers need? And kind of start there. And just found it easier to deal with things in that way, if that makes sense.
I love that thought of just really being present in the moment. And that's a great challenge for so many people. When you look at the schedule and you think about all the things you have to do, you go, you don't have all those things to do. You only have the thing to do right now. I learned that from a mentor of mine years ago. He said, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, because I've got all these pieces of paper on my desk and all these tasks that need to be done. And this was more back in the paper, age, not so much the digital environment. But he said, I would just stack all the papers up and I would just take the one on top and work on that. So you don't have a stack of papers. You just have this one paper. When you're done with that one, you just move on to the next one. But if you try to think of all of them at one time, it is overwhelming. Yeah. I get that 100%.
And I try to teach my boys that, delaying things, procrastinating, I think that's sort of just a human behavior. But if you can, if you think of something that needs to be done, just do it, and do it right now. And you'll be surprised that if you do that task, maybe multiple tasks, you'll be surprised how much time you're left with.
Yeah.
When the tasks are completed. For the boys, how long does it take to make your bed, take out the trash and the recycling, and pick up the dog doo-doo? Like how long would all of that take you?
Like 15 minutes.
At max 15 minutes. So
I'm
that
like it's gonna be an hour. I'm like, I gotta do this.
I mean, so that leaves you, 45 minutes to skateboard, right? But if you're kind of lollygagging and you're not doing this and you're not focused, then you end up not being able to do anything. Now you're in trouble because you haven't done your chores, and one of your other family members has to pick up the slack, and you probably aren't going to get to skateboard, right? So, you have your responsibilities, and you gotta take care of them. And that brings up a good point. Our family unit is like a microcosm of your community, right? So, we don't get paid to do chores. Like mom and dad don't get paid to cook you breakfast or dinner, right? And you don't get paid to take out the trash or to pick up the dog duty. You're doing your duty for the family, right? That's your job for the family. And if you're not doing it, then somebody else in the community or the family has to pick up that slack. And now you've let down your family or the community, right? So if you can establish that in the family, then hopefully that will teach the kids to do that outside of the household. And I think if everybody focused on that, then I think the communities would be a little stronger in certain places. I think we're lacking that a little bit in this country. I don't want to get too far off topic, but I think we're a little too internal, a little too selfish. And I think if you that too. Yeah. So that's kind of how we manage our days. And, it started with just bed making, like you got to make your bed, and we don't, I always tell the boys, you're not making your bed for yourself. It's actually not about you. It's about your mom when she wakes up in the morning and she walks by and she looks in your room and she sees your bed nicely made, and that makes her heart happy. And so now you have made somebody else other than yourself extremely happy. And that's pretty cool, right? And if you can do that over and over and over again, then you're going to be really impactful in the world, I think.
And on that note of doing things that inspire other people, I think that's a great transition to talk about crits, right? And to talk about your business, Carter, that you got started. Can you just give us, to kick this off, a an overview? What is crits? Let's start there with an easy one.
Yeah, here I'll show you. So crits is a combination of a foot flop and a foam clog. So it provides maximum comfort. You can run around in them. You can pretty much do anything in them. What I call adventurability. I actually trademarked that word, so it's my word now. It's pretty crazy. Here, I'll just get into the materials.
Sure.
Let's do it. So we have a Vibram outsole, which is the bottom of the shoe. It's super grippy. It's made for mountaineering, so you can like climb trees in them, pretty much do whatever you want, run around, be in the house, doesn't matter. And then the memory foam footbed wrapped in leather, which is super squishy, and it provides maximum comfort and ability to do things. And it also molds to your foot after about a week, so it's like your personal shoe. And then we
That's cool.
have synthetic leather on the top, which is super easy to clean. You can just get a wet paper towel, wipe off the dirt. If you have kids, so if they get dirty, just wipe it off, no big deal. And then you can pick your color and critter on top of the shoe that's in my shop right now. Here's white hearts, green airplanes, and then yellow stars. So I just thought that's really cool. And when I was 8, I had that idea. So I just thought it makes me happy. So I want to make other people happy. I think that's a good thing. And then we have neoprene right here, which makes sure that you don't have any blisters or sweaty feet, which is super helpful. And then we have the tow bar inside. You can see right there. So when you're running around, you can hold on to the tow bar so the shoe doesn't fall off.
So cool. They look amazing. And if somebody's not watching this on YouTube or somewhere else, like, these are cool. You got to check these out. Let's just right now, in case somebody wants to go take a peek in the middle of the show, what's the website? And they'll go take a look.
Yeah, so it's crits.com, CRITTS.com. And I want to talk about one more thing. So I forgot to tell you this, but you're probably wondering what this white stuff is.
Okay,
Well,
what is
this is
that?
called sweet foam. It's under the memory foam footbed, and it's made out of sugarcane from southern Brazil. So it's eco-friendly, biodegradable, and the shoe is fully recyclable.
Wow, very cool. Looking after the planet. I appreciate that so much. Let's talk about why. Why do this? What was go back to that initial spark, and how did the shoe come to be?
Yeah, so I was on a family vacation in the Caribbean. So I just woke up and I got my flip flops and I ran outside, just doing what I do, just running around, climbing trees, doing things, I guess, whatever I did when I was 8 on a family vacation. So I was running around. I climbed up a tree and my flip flops fell off and I stubbed my toes on the tree and it hurt a lot. And my toes were like a little bit bloody and everything and they were stubbed. And no one wants that. So I got my Crocs and I started running around in those. But they gave me lots of blisters and sweaty feet because they're a mold and it's like rubber. So when it rubs on your feet, it gives you blisters. So I wanted a solution to my problem, and I know that other people have this problem. So I went up to my dad when he was reading, which is a super relaxing place for him, which is perfect for this time. And I walked up to him and said, "Can I make a foot crit?" And he's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "So it's like a shoe, but it's a tennis shoe, but not." And he's like, "Okay, so why don't you write this down?" So I was like, "How should I write it?" And he said, "Well, let's make a business plan." So he told me what a business plan was. I wrote one down and I came back to him with 3 pieces of paper. And here's the first one. So, like, this should
These are
have
the
been,
original pieces of paper.
yeah, these are the
Oh, very
original
cool.
pieces of paper. So, like, there's the shoe, all the things that I wanted. We have my business.
It's like your mission.
Yeah, my mission. I wanted to spread happiness, safety, and security to all critters. It's a family business. Other ideas down here. And then we have crits and feral critters. Adventurability. Yeah, so that's how pretty
So
much
great. All
everything
that
works in
happened on
your
the
life.
first day.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It
So
took him about 20 minutes to
it's
write those
amazing.
3 pages. I didn't know. To be honest, I just sort of, yeah, write this down. I told him business plan, whatever. But I was really surprised what I got back.
That's a very impressive 20-minute business plan that turned into something really exciting. Oh, that's a very important 20 minutes of your life. It's amazing to think how differently that could have all ended up based on either of your actions or responses to that. Like how you would have responded to that, Ryan, changed, Carter's life and your family's life forever. And how you had the courage, Carter, to approach your dad and ask a big question, right? And to be open and creative and innovative and to want to solve problems changed your life and the lives of so many others forever. That's really, I love those inflection points in life. I think that's very, very cool. So tell me again, maybe I missed it, but the name crits, where did that come from? How did you come up with that term?
Oh, yes. So I haven't talked about that yet. So my brother and his friend, about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was 5 or 6, I think I was 6, and I was, oh yeah, I came out while my brother and his friend were playing basketball in my backyard, and I came out there and just started slapping the ball out of their hands and just doing these annoying things to them. And then my brother came up to me and like held me on my arm and was like, "Why are you annoying me like a critter?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm your brother. What else am I supposed to do? These are Jordan and Carter games. This is what we do." And he's like, "Okay, I see how it is. How about I call you Critter now?" And I was like, "Okay, dude, do whatever you want." And the next day at school, we went to the same school with each other. It's called Salvador. Now it's River. And I was at Salvador. I came in to all my friends. Everybody was just like, hello, critter, hi, critter." And I was like, "Jordan, what did you do?" It's like he got the like microphone and just told everybody and went into the teachers like classrooms and everything, just told them to call me critter. And literally everybody in the school called me critter. So I started getting used to it. And then shortly, we shortened it to crit. And then so they call me critter or crit. And then the company is crits.
Wow, that's such a great story. What a turnaround, right? Because, Carter, what I think is so fascinating about this is that if somebody came up with a name for you and then they started calling you that name, it'd be easy to be deeply offended and hurt and then, play kind of a poor me, have a poor me attitude towards it. And what I see that you did was you really just stepped into it. You just kept being you. You embraced it. You actually looked for the gift in that, And now it's become a business. Like, that is so great. It's so
I,
perfect.
honestly, without the name Kritz, this would probably be a whole different shoe. Because it's
Yeah.
called the Flip Crit, like, because it flips like a flip flop, but it's a unique crit. So,
Well, and I
it
think
would
you also
be,
have I think this is a testament, John, to Jordan isn't here right now because he's got some schoolwork to do. But his older brother is an amazing human and has, since the time Carter was born and Jordan was 3, he has adored his little brother and established that relationship.
Mm.
And so, I mean, they're so funny when we sit and we talk, and they'll laugh because like they cannot stay mad at each other
Yeah.
for longer than like 2 minutes. It is so funny. Um, and and
I,
I think,
I,
Jordan has spent a lot of time building that relationship with you. And it's that I think that's an important message to about Chris,
mm,
that sibling
yeah,
relationship,
I
I think is
remember
important.
that one day this is like not almost every day, but mostly, like it gets me annoyed. And then I think to myself, I'm not going to talk to him the whole day. And like the next 2 minutes later, we're just cracking up on a meme or something.
I think that's wonderful. Ryan, from your perspective, I'm sure parents are wondering right now how much of that was just nature at work, like the two Wright brothers coming together, and how much might have been created by the environment. And let me see if I can also, it's a leading question here because
Mhm.
I know for a fact that well, at least I feel in my heart, it's true that sometimes when parents repeat, you guys are best friends, you guys look after each other, when you speak into existence, right, with your words and environment, that plays a role. But how might you describe what's happened there between these two brothers? What's the recipe that created such a loving, caring relationship? And it's okay if you brag on yourself and your wife a little here.
No, it's yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, a lot of times in families, obviously with young kids, a lot of it's monkey see, monkey do,
Yeah.
right? So they're modeling you and your behavior and towards other people, towards themselves, towards, the relationship with the people closest to you. Um, so I think that it's I think it's twofold. I was daddy daycare for the first 2.5 years of Jordan's life. We were together every day. Mom had a corporate job and was, kind of supporting us while the wine was still getting going. Took us 9 years to get that off the ground where it could start paying us. I had 4 other jobs, um, and yes, I had 4 jobs. And
Dang.
so I know that was before you came along. Everything
Wow.
was all, by the time you
Never
got here, it was
told
like
me
easy.
this.
But you know how hard it is because you've seen the
Oh,
last few
dad just
kids.
steps on grapes and makes a lot of cash.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of steps there. But I think it's like anything else, you nurture those relationships. And then I think Jordan sees that, but it's also kind of who he is. Jordan has always been um, more, he's like engaged in the moment of
Yeah.
what's happening. And he will sit with you and talk with you and hang out with you and what's needed. He's not in a hurry to do things, and he's right there. So I think part of that is like who just nature and sort of who he is. But I think the environment obviously plays a role, right? It allowed him to be more of who he is. And I think it really helped Carter. I don't think Carter would be who he is without his brother's influence.
Right.
I just see that, and I don't know. It's so cool. So I don't know what the recipe is, because I know lots of incredible parents, and sometimes it's just a crapshoot.
Sometimes it works,
And
sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. I think
yeah,
nature does play a big role in it, for sure. Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah. What about from your
yeah.
perspective, Carter? Why are you guys great brothers?
Hmm.
It's a great question. I don't think you've ever asked that before.
Um, because he takes care of me
Mm.
when you guys are gone. Um, feeds me sometimes. Yeah. He's nice when I ask for something, like a water, I say when I'm in my Zoom call. He's done with the Zoom call. He goes, gets me the water, comes back. And I say, thank you. He says, you're welcome. And he walks out. And he says, I love you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I think that's really important.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, teary.
Guys, I love this. Let's keep talking about crits for a second. And Carter, from your perspective, that's awesome. I love that. Hey, Carter, while we're on this topic, actually, let's stick with this. I think it's great. What do you love about your mom and dad? What makes your family special? Let's stick with this for
God.
You're good.
This is good. We're on to something here, buddy.
You're good. Just eat.
Yeah.
All You're okay.
All those emotions are great. You have all the space and time you need, Carter. There's no rush here at all. And all that emotion, by the way, makes me feel really, really happy. Means we're on to something important.
Let's see. They've always supported me. They're great parents. I mean, obviously, they're doing this for me. They believed in me, and they take care of me. They know what I love, and they give it to me, and I think that's important. And they love me, and I love them back.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool. I love it. What I feel right now, Carter, is that, the business is great. Crits is great. You just smashed it on Kickstarter, and there's going to be lots of people wearing this product. When I hear things like sustainably sourced, materials and all that, like you're doing a lot of things right. But the thing I'm most impressed with, Carter, of this whole thing is that you're doing it with your family, and you're doing it with this love. You have composure, Carter. You have great composure, and you're very articulate. And I could tell that you speak from the heart. You're very genuine in your shares. And to me, that is more impressive than what you've built, is who you've been as you've built it. And not that you haven't had tough times, or that there hasn't been, like, where somebody raises their voice or gets disappointed or says something mean. Those are all normal things to happen. But I really want to honor you, Carter, right now, in our community, for just who you are in this process. And we don't know each other very, very well. We know each other as of today, but it's very obvious to me that the heart that you bring to this, which makes me love crits even more. Like, cool product, great Kickstarter, right? Like, all that's great. I think when you learn about the heart of the person behind it, and you learn its origin story, and then you learn about the family that's building it together, boy, that's the thing that makes it special for me. And what I imagine is that when my boys get their first pair of crits, right? And they're walking around in them. Whenever I see those shoes, I'm going to feel those same things. I'm going to remember the emotion that you felt about your brother. I'm going to remember the story of you going to your dad and talking about the business plan on your vacation. And I'm going to feel and think about, what you talked about as it relates to family. Those are the values that I'm going to attach to crits, the product itself.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. What do you hope happens in the future, Carter, with crits? What do you see? What's your vision? Where could this go? Where might it go?
I envision my crits all around the world, and I'll have different stores everywhere. And I have a program called Crits Cares, and it's where one person buys a pair of crits, $2 goes back to my elementary school. I'm in middle school now, but they're in lots of trouble with COVID and not having enough money, and programs them pretty much giving back to us, and some of my creativity came from there, and I'm giving back to my community, and they need more money because people are taking away from them instead of giving. So I just thought that that's really important. And about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I gave a $500 check to them, and they hung it up in their office.
So cool. That must feel great. Yeah.
It did.
Yeah. And for anybody who's not watching this, Carter's smile says a lot. Yeah. Notice that. That's great. Ryan, from your perspective, is there anything that you wanted to mention about this whole process, about the company, considering that, maybe any advice that you'd have for dads out there that could be in similar situations or approached by their kids? Just any thoughts, final words?
Yeah, I think from the going back from in the beginning of this, when he was telling the story, I think it's really important. I'm not sure I did a great job of this. I do it now. And then I think he just caught me right at that, I don't know, like the perfect moment. But just listening to your kids, I think we hear about it a lot. Carter does a lot of interviews. He does a lot of presentations. He's done them at schools all over Napa, but he's done some colleges and universities in the Bay Area as well. And lots of parents are around too when he's speaking, and they've come up to us quite often and they say, God, my kids talk all the time, and I'm sure they have ideas, but I just sometimes just white noise, and I tell them, oh, you can't do that, or whatever. And so I think just listening, I think is important, and especially the way life is going right now, and there's so much coming at us. I think you can again not be present and sort of disregard what an 8-year-old is saying. And I think really pay attention and listen to what they're saying, and also get them to go that extra step. Write this down. Try teach them things that are important. And for me, entrepreneurship is just where it's at. I think it's how our world progresses forward. It's how we're going to get, if you believe in climate change or not, it's how we're going to get out of dependency in fossil fuels, because eventually there's not going to be any more, right? It takes a long time for trees to break down and become coal. Like we don't have millions of years, right? So innovation is what drives our species forward, and will fix a lot of our problems, and we don't see that in schools, right? So crits was an exercise in entrepreneurship. Did we have any idea that it would actually be a shoe that an 8-year-old would get a utility patent on? And it turns out people love them. So much so that, what I don't want to tell him, because you have a huge win that you should tell John about. Right.
We have a big one actually. So I got, they actually invited me into Nordstrom.com.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and once COVID is over, I'll be going into their stores and telling my story.
That's incredible, man.
And the head
Congratulations.
merchandiser and buyer at Nordstrom, and they have given us permission to use their words and what they said to you. But Anna and Mallory, when they got a hold of Carter's shoes and they wore them, and they got in a Zoom call with Carter, and they said, Carter, this is one of the most innovative and unique shoes we have seen in years, and our customers are going to love them.
Wow.
And that, John, blew my mind.
That's so cool. Carter, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel great. I'm gonna sell some shoes, millions of pairs, and money across the U.S.
Yeah, that's so fun. I can't wait till I walk into a Nordstrom and see your shoes. That's cool. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you, Carter, when that happens. That'll be fun.
Thank you.
Wow. Guys, where do people go now to buy their first pair of crits?
You can go to my website, crits.com, CRITTS.com. Again, CRITTS.com. And yeah, you can basically go to my shop, buy some shirts, a mug,
And the shoes.
and the shoes. And then
the first inventory arrives just after, well, it'll be here, but in the warehouse. It'll be ready to ship right after Thanksgiving.
So people can get these for Christmas.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, guys, everybody should go and buy a pair of crits for their kids for Christmas. That's my ask of this community, to celebrate Carter, to give back along the way, and to help this young man and his family and all those that are involved in the business to launch this. This is good, right? This is good for the world. This is good on many, many levels. And I think what's cool about these products, guys, is that when we buy things for our families, I'd love to have a story behind it. You just get them a pair of shoes and it's just a pair of shoes. But if you can give them a pair of shoes and tell a story, if you can listen to the podcast, in fact, if you listen to this podcast with your kids and then you go and the shoes show up, that's like a great 1-2 punch. That's a great follow up, because now there's meaning behind it. There's a dialogue, there's a conversation. And who knows, what also is so cool, Carter, and I didn't think about this until right now, is how many businesses are going to be launched by young entrepreneurs as a result of what you've done, by kind of showing that it's possible, right? And that's awesome.
Well, you see that, right? You see that when he gets up and talks in front of 400 kids, and afterwards 30 of them are coming up and saying, oh, I had this idea, and I had that idea, and that idea. And that's people feel empowered when somebody like them does something unique or special. Well, I can do that too. I mean, that's also a inherently unique human trait that I find really awesome. We can identify people that are like us when they do special things. Well, I can do that too.
Yeah.
Like, if he can do that, why can't I do that? And Carter firmly is a firm believer that kids can, anything is possible.
Yeah. Adventurability. Adventurability. It's going to be one of my takeaways today. Adventurability. Hey, before we go, what does that word mean to you? How could people consider that term going forward? How could they ponder that? What does that word
Yeah,
mean?
it means you can run, jump, and climb and just be a kid or an adult. It doesn't matter. Crits for all critters. Critters are people. Maybe dogs and cats. Who knows? And that might be coming. And then it means to be innovative, creative, unique, and be yourself.
Wow. It's a great message. Carter and Ryan, thank you so much for being here today. A huge amount of respect to both of you and your entire family, because I know this is a team effort, and to all those that are on your, your staff or you're in your organization that are helping to create the product and to help market it and get it out to the world. Again, guys, crits.com, go check it out, get your first pair. Buy some for your family, get them for your friends, and tell the story, right? And share it. Carter, what else do you have?
I have two things. Thank you for having me on this podcast. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And for people that are watching this or just hearing this, when you go to my website, if you're on your phone, flip your phone over and you'll see a YouTube icon on the top right. Click on that. And then we have like 54 subscribers, and we did 100 to have, what is it? It's like
your unique name.
Yeah, my unique name. So we need those 100 subscribers. So
All right, you'll have one more after this interview.
Yeah, he has a bunch of videos in there that will show you, how he uses the shoes and does different things.
You'll see me skateboarding them, climbing trees, wiping them off, and
Nice.
I'll be uploading a video very soon, probably today, probably after my school. I finish all my work, we'll be uploading a video. So
Great.
make sure to subscribe.
Awesome. Carter and Ryan, thanks again, my friends. Very honored to spend time with you today. I tip my hat to you on your progress that you've made. And this has been inspiring. And I think you definitely made a difference to the Romans, and I'd guess to many, many others as well. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time for talking to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, John.